Hey everybody, Mark Johnson here, founder and creative director of Able Ape Studios, back again with another book review. And the book that I am reviewing today is a book that I got off a list of books that the late and great Nipsey Hussle either read or was sharing with his inner circle in the time before his passing. And I have never heard this book before, so that was also another draw to it. But I think the reason why I selected this book off of the list of books that Nipsey Hussle was reading is because it's about building wealth. And it's kind of a topic that we don't really get a whole lot of information on unless you're grateful to have a family or a family member who instills this information to you, or maybe you go to an institution that is giving you this information. To me that's surprising because it's really a topic that a lot of us, number one, we don't really have a whole lot of background on, and number two, it would make our lives that much better if we had this information or had this knowledge. And the book that I'm talking about is George Clason's The Richest Man in Babylon. The reason why I was drawn to it is because, number one, I'm trying to learn as much as I possibly can about building wealth and how one does that, and what's necessarily the process that someone would go about doing that. The book itself it reads kind of to me like the Bible. It kind of reads like the Bible. It tells parables, stories on how the characters that they're talking about in the book build wealth. How one person was looking at another character in the book and was just puzzled about how they were able to build so much wealth over their lifetime and how they were able to do that. And so the main character, or the character for each story, is kind of really going through the process of learning these steps, being told by the person who's been able to amass this wealth over time. So the book goes into these ideas, number one, of how to build wealth. How does one do that? And I think the one thing that, if there was any tidbit you can take from this video, or even just one nugget of information that I can give you, is that in the book they share this simple principle of saving 10% of whatever you earn each month, each week, each bi-week, whatever it may be. Saving 10%, either to save it or reinvest it into another opportunity so that you can gradually build wealth over time. And I think that's really the main point in this book, is that if you save 10% of whatever you make, in a sense, living off just a little bit less than what you make each, again, whatever your pay period is, you can amass wealth over time. And I think that's the one real thing that you can really just kind of, like, if you want an action thing to do right away, that's something that you can do easily and begin this process of building wealth. They also talk about situations where maybe you're in a situation where you are loaning money or you're borrowing money, the process of doing that so that you're not putting yourself in a situation where you'll never either see that money back or you'll see it as a bad investment. It talks about good investments versus bad investments. It talks about how to think about making an investment. Just a lot of stuff that I probably wasn't privy to before reading this book. Something I also thought about is that this book to me can be also like a comparable to another book, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, in the sense that it's showing you how to use money wisely, and also at the same time understanding what a wise investment is versus a bad investment. I think these two books are very parallel in that same sense. It talks about in the Rich Dad Poor Dad how the rich work for money or how the rich view money. And they also talk about how a rich person views money compared to someone who's poor and living paycheck to paycheck. You know, it's a tool, you know what I'm saying? I mean, so they're looking at money differently than maybe a lot of just regular people look at money. So yeah, so overall, I would say this is a great book to read. I would definitely recommend this book for anyone, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I would also go as far as saying that this should be a book that any young person starting a job, you know what I'm saying, or, you know, looking to start work, they should read this book before they actually start doing that, because it would give them better understanding of the money, the reason why they're working, and how to deal with the payments that they get, you know, for the work that they do. Obviously, you want to build wealth over time, slowly, steadily, but there's, you know, they even talk about how to, in this book, how to kind of make that process go a little faster. So that has been my book review for George Clason's The Richest Man in Babylon. Definitely recommend this book for reading. And if you read this book before, and, you know, maybe you've drawn out your own opinions on this book, definitely leave me a comment in the comment box below. Maybe there's some points that I didn't touch on today, being that I was just kind of like a quick little book review. But maybe some points that you found very interesting or little tidbits, definitely leave me those in the comment box below. If you like this book review, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing with the channel, because you also have watched other videos on my channel, definitely subscribe. And I thank you for watching. And like we always do this time, have a blessed day. See you on the flip side. Let's go.